Well, hello, JRC. Make sure my notes are updated. Yes. If you see anything in the auction, please feel free to let me know. Hey, Lindy. Okay, let me get over here. Gonna fire up my YouTube channel too. So the first book we have, if you have any questions about anything, it's in the auction. And anything in the buy it now, I can pull it up at the next sale. If you want to see the conditions of the books before you get them. Come on. Why does this computer take so long? So the first book we have is called Harlequin Presents The Australians by Miranda Lee, The Passion Price. This is what the book looks like. It's in pretty good condition. It's from 2004. Let's see here. And this is what the book is about. The Pregnancy Payback. Jake Winters still has that edge of danger about him. The one-time teenage tearaway has transformed himself into a successful, wealthy Sydney lawyer. When Jake comes back into Angelina's life, she senses that he won't welcome the news that their brief youth passion left her pregnant. She only wants an affair, however. The intense sexual attraction between them is too hard to deny. Can Angelina let Jake have her body, but keep her secret to herself? So, interesting. So this is the first book. We are in the romances right now. So the romances are running. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Weather's finally cooled down here. Not so hot anymore, thank goodness. I've been able to take my puppy outside and sit with her. Okay, the second book we have, this one is called Cheyenne Moon by Carol Finch. This is what the book looks like. It's from 1999. It's in pretty good condition for being that old. Cheyenne Moon, disguised as a man, Kate Diamond flees from her stepfather's murderous goons with a fortune and heirloom jewels. With fate on her side, her path crosses Judd Lasseter's, a notorious bounty hunter she desperately wants to hire. When Kat offers him a portion of her inheritance, if he'll get her safely to Santa Fe, she doesn't count on a deal that's fraught with danger at every turn, and she has her gladly surrendering her heart. Known as Panther, Judd Lasseter is as fearless and untamed as his namesake, a half-breed more at home stalking his quarry in the wild than confined in civilization. Cat Diamond's exquisite beauty is enough to tempt any man, even a loner like himself. But with the law on her trail, a murder charge against her, and a bounty on her head, he suspects her guilty of double dealing until their trek through the wilderness puts his trust to the test, turning their bargain into a passionate bond and a fight for a love more precious than gold. So for people that like romances, here you go. James. The next book we have is another romance book. It is a Harlequin romance. It's called Habit of Command by Sophie Weston. It is a 1992. It's a pretty good shape for being used. What he proposed was a bargain. Marriage was an exchange of favors. Paul Theocaris seemed to think he was offering Sally Harrison a fair deal. He needed a way to convince his bankers and shareholders that he was serious about the family business and that he reformed his playboy ways. And he knew Sally needed financial security for her young brother and her ailing grandfather. Sensible Sally agreed to her boss's proposal reluctantly because she was well aware that the marriage of convenience would also come to a convenient end. Convenient for him, not for her. It all went to prove that a woman who was marrying for money shouldn't marry the man she loved. So she says. So this is the next one. And welcome in. Hey, Hollings and J. King and Joan. Welcome, welcome. Everything's in the auction, the show notes, and the buy it now. Hey, Christian. So right now we are working on romances. I'm a slow seller. I read the synopsises and show you the conditions of the book before you get them. Okay, so the next book we have this one is called In the Arms of the Law by Peggy Moreland. This is Harlequin Famous Families, The Fortunes. So my books are used. They're not all new. So you see the condition. There's a little bit of writing in this one. It is a 2005 copyright. A young man's body washes ashore near Ryan's Fortunes Ranch, and everyone is surprised to see he has the famous fortune crown birthmark. Could the mystery man really be the lost fortune? Before Detective Andre Matthews can find out, she has to convince her young, headstrong, and all right, she'll admit it, sexy partner Gabe Thunderhawk to stop thinking about his next promotion and start working as a part of a team. Being forced to operate together is tricky, especially as their oil and water personalities become mixed with something much more volatile, desire. In this job, there's no room for playing around with the laws of attraction. So this is the next romance. Everything's in the auction that's around me. The stuff that's in the buy it now. If you want to see any of the books, I can pull them later and show them in the next show, because I have them put away. But I will show you the conditions before you purchase the books if you're interested. The worst book you will get from me in condition-wise will be dark. Like they have like a dark look to them. Like they could have aged or could have been in a smoker's house. I don't know. But, you know, because they darken with age even without smoking, because I'm not putting down smokers, don't get me wrong. But they're all used books. Every once in a while, I'll have a new one in here. But for the most part, it's mostly used because I own a licensed used bookstore offline. So the next book I have is called Christmas on Snowbird Mountain by Faye Robinson. And this is definitely a Harlequin super romance. It is a 2002. Susanna Pelton is a woman alone, a woman who's lost everyone she loves and has become wary of entanglements. Ryan Whitepath is a Cherokee member of a close family and a vibrant community, a man who cares about his little girl, Nia, above all else. Because of her mother's death, Nia is emotionally ill, but Ryan's grandmother tells him a red bird with broken wing will heal his daughter. Ryan dismisses her vision until red-headed Susanna shows up on their North Carolina mountain with her wrist in a cast. Nia seems to connect with Susanna, who agrees to stay until Christmas, but Ryan wants to change that to forever for his own reasons as well as Nia's. And if there's any books you want to see out of order, let me know. I just go in order unless you have a request. Hey, Shelley. Welcome, welcome. We are working on romances at the moment. Hey, Team Rockets. Welcome, welcome. The next romance book I have is called What You Made Me by Penny Jordan. It's a Harlequin Presents. It's from 1984 copyright. She hadn't seen him in almost 11 years. They'd been very much in love, but if Philippa had married Scott, he would have lost his birthright. So Philippa had told him she was in love with someone else. Seeing her again unleashed Scott's bitterness. He was pleased to think that Geoff had refused to marry Philippa. Despite her pregnant condition, Scott was so blind to Philippa's love he couldn't see even the obvious. The young Simon was very much his father's son. After you left, Philippa, my grandfather withheld from me what he thought I wanted most. Take care, Scott warned, that I never discover what you treasure. So that is that book. We got lots of books posted, lots and lots. I'm going to take a drink because I'm thirsty. I don't know if you guys ever tried these Skittles. It's like you mix it with your water. Like, oh, they're so good. Instead of the Hawaiian Punch, I think the Skittles is better, but it tastes sweet. But it's delicious. Next one we have is called One Step Ahead by Reagan Forrest, and this is a Harlequin intrigue. It's definitely an older one. It's only like number 24. So some rating in it, but you will not get rid pages. You'll get your story. I make sure I check every single book. 1985. I wish I had time to read them all. He was full of contradictions. Misty Chandler had moved to Colorado for the simple lifestyle that running a country inn offered. But with the arrival of her first guest, viral ex-pilot Craig Sutherland, Misty's peace was shattered. Tough and gentle, evasive and open, Craig was anything but simple. And overnight, Misty found herself an unwilling player in a deadly game of cat and mouse. When she finally demanded to know what was going on, Craig told her, and then she wished she had never asked. So there is an older romance. Well, hello, Johnny. Welcome in. Everything I have around me today is in the auction. My Buy It Now has books. If anybody wants to see them, I can pull them out for the next show. You can shoot me a message if you're interested in anything in the Buy It Now. If you're anything like me, I like seeing my books before I buy them. Hey, the Beard Man. You're awful quiet for a beard man. The next book we have is The Bridge Fair by Cheryl Revis. This is what the book looks like. It's got a pretty picture on the inside. This is from 2002. Nothing would ever be the same. Maria Markham had survived the war only to tolerate the occupation. Barely, while daily facing haunting memories of loss. But then Max Woodard, an enigmatic army colonel with a gentle heart, offered her passion and a loving partnership in a brave new world. Though a former prisoner of war, Colonel Max Woodward vowed to deal fairly with the Southerners under his governance. He yearned to understand them, most particularly Maria Markham, a womanly mix of true grit and glory. But could she ever love a man who wore the face of the enemy? So there is that one running. If you want to see anything out of sequence, let me know, and I will show you. The next book we have is Harlequin Super Romance called Dream Baby by Ann Evans. This is a 1999 copyright. Millennium Baby. When a friend, pregnant and desperate, suggests that Nora Holloway adopt a baby, it looks as if Nora's dream of celebrating the millennium with a family of her own may come true. When the baby's uncle shows up with a plan that doesn't include Nora, Jake Burdett's guilt over his brother's death won't allow him to break his promise to look after the child. He won't allow a stranger to adopt his nephew, but the more he learns about Nora, the less of a stranger she becomes. And yes, I had a book fall. Bookoland shows happen. Okay. My book wants to jump. Stay up there. Okay. Crazy book. And another thing is to always come back and shop anytime in my store because it's live all the time, 24/7. So if you want to take your time, you can. The next book I have okay, that's weird. Where are you at? Oh, there you are. My book's like hiding from me. It's another super romance called Found One Son by Judith Arnold. Judith Arnold must have been really popular. I see her books a lot in these type of books. This is a 1999 copyright. He made her He met her buying peaches in an open air market in sleepy sun-dressed San Pablo. They connected instantaneously, and that connection deepened into a magical fierce love. Then Michael Molina disappeared without a word. Emmy Kenyon had put Michael in the past, but unfinished business compelled him to hire Finders Keepers, a detective agency that specialized in locating lost loves, to track Emmy down. She was living in small town American life with his son, a wonderful little boy named Jeffrey. Michael thought they could be a family, convinced Emmy of it too, until a man from their past reappeared and Michael and Emmy found they had to trust their love for each other and for their son or lose it altogether. So this is the last in this set of romance books. And then we will move on to the next genre. It's up here. So the next genre we have, we're going into the young adult young adult section. This says it's got 20 chapters. Somebody wrote on the front of the book. Memories of Summer by Ruth White. Reader's Circle. This might be like school reading. But I picked young adult for different reasons. I have certain books in it for different reasons. But Memories of Summers by Ruth White. And it copyrights 2000. Memories of Summer. It's 1855 when 13-year-old Lyric moves with her father and her older sister Summer from a small Virginia town to a big industrial city of Flint, Michigan. Summer has always been a little odd, but shortly after the move, she starts talking to imaginary people and having frightening episodes of paranoia. When she slips into schizophrenia, the devoted Lyric can no longer reach her. Lyric loves her sister, but is torn between the need to be a constant care of Summer and her desire to enjoy her own youth. Soon a decision must be made that will affect both sisters' lives forever. And even though I have them listed as young adult, any age can really read them. Hey, Jillian. Hey, Bud Files. How are you? I hope you're doing good. So the next book I have, since Halloween is right around the corner, I thought I would add some young adult spookies. So we have Screamers, The Fright Mask, and Other Stories to Twist Your Mind by Dawn Wolfson. This is a 1995. Have a nice fright. Hair-raising nightmares await you in this new and creepier than ever collection of screamers. If you like your tales of terror with a twist, these spellbinding stories will leave you screaming with delight. There is a crazed killer loose, so 15-year-old Carol Ellery has locked all the doors. Too bad the murderer's already in the house. And poor Billy, all the kids think he's a Halloween costume. Is totally boring. Just wait until he shows them his real face. Zeke Kimball suspects that his next-door neighbors are ghoulish maniacs. He'll soon realize that the truth is far worse. There's one thing for certain. You can always expect the unexpected with Screamers. That's even got a creepy cover. Freya Bell 965. The next book we have in the young adult section for Halloween Screamers is The Trap Door and Other Stories That Would Twist Your Mind by Dawn Wolfson. This is a 1995 book. Nightmares can come true, and they always do in Screamers. These 10 spine-tingling tales are sure to leave you screaming with terror and delight, especially once you found out each story's shocking surprise ending. Jimmy Joe Gelber, a young runaway, never dreamed what would end up on the menu when he is invited to stay for dinner by a creepy backwoods family. And poor Jeremy never imagined that he would become the final victim of the power of a magical crystal. Just what is Joanne Benzinger's mother's terrible secret? Joanne doesn't want to know, but she's about to find out. There's one thing for certain. You can always expect the unexpected with screamers. The next book we have is The Final Nightmare, Book 3, and this is Book 3 of a trilogy. I wish I had the rest of them. So this is what the book looks like. It is a 1995. The house on Chewy Street stood high on a hill, hidden by a tall, whispery tree surrounded by shadows. It was a rambling old place, a decaying mansion, and it was watching us. Something was there in the house waiting, something no longer alive. The haunted house on Cherry Street has taken one victim, Jason and Sally's babysitter. But that's not enough. The house wants Jason and Sally too. Just like that boy Bobby, he had an accident, a deadly one. This is Jason's little sister's last chance to get out alive because the house on Cherry Street is hiding some gruesome secrets. Secrets that will be kept to the grave. 2 kids, 1 haunted house. Let the final nightmare begin. Halloween books, Halloween books. Let's start this. Well, welcome in. Hello, hello. Arkham 57. Unequal. Okay, so the next book we have is called Anamorphous. Anamorphous. The war can't go on forever. Will it be us or them? The Diversion, K.A. Applegate. Young adult book, 2001. We can't tell you who we are or where we live. It's too risky and we've got to be careful, really careful. So we don't trust anyone because if they find us, well, we just won't let them find us. The thing you should know is that everyone is in really big trouble, yeah, even you. The Yeerks are finally starting to realize that the Andalite bandits are probably not aliens at all. They're finally starting to realize that maybe they've been dealing with humans all along, and no one, especially the new appointed Visser one, is happy with this knowledge, not happy at all. When Tobias and other Animorphs and Axe realize that the Yeerks are about to find them, it's by accident. But that doesn't make the discovery any less serious because in a war, One side wins and one side loses. So we're going to run this. Who did I miss? Alrighty. The next book we have this one here is The Babysitter's Club. Boy Crazy Stacy by Anne M. Martin. And I put this in the young adult section because it's not more about pictures, more about chapter reading. And this is from 1987. It is number 8 in the set. Stacy and Mary Ann are mother's helpers for the Pike family for 2 weeks at the New Jersey shore. Things are great in Sea City. There's a gorgeous old house, a boardwalk, plenty of sun and sand, and the cutest boy Stacy has ever seen. Mary Ann knows that Scott the lifeguard is way too old for Stacy, but Stacy's in love. She fixes Scott's lunch, fetches his soda, and spends all her time with him, instead of with the Pike kids. Suddenly, Mary Ann's doing the work of 2 babysitters, and she doesn't like it one bit. But how can she tell Stacy that Scott just isn't interested without breaking Stacy's heart? So there is a Babysitter's Club book. Well, hello, Ashley, and maybe so. I like that name, maybe so. That's cute. I like some of the IDs that people make on here. So the next book we have, now this takes a different twist in the young adult books, because this is more of literary type. So you have like your kids books and then your kids that go to chapters books. And now we're into the literary type, kind of like, I would say, maybe like freshman year in high school. So it's still young adult. House of Sand and Fog by Andre Dubai III. This is actually a national bestseller from 1999. It says, in this riveting novel of almost unbearable suspense, 3 fragile yet determined people become dangerously entangled in a relentless, escalating crisis. Colonel Bahrani, once a wealthy man in Iran, is now a struggling immigrant willing to bet everything he has to restore his family's dignity. Kathy Nicolo is a troubled young woman whose house is all she has left and who refuses to let her hard-won stability slip away from her. Sheriff Lester Burden, a married man who finds himself falling in love with Kathy, becomes obsessed with helping her fight for justice. Drawn to her competing desires for the same small house in the California hills, and doomed by their tragic inability to understand one another, the 3 converge in an explosive collision course, combining unadored realism with profound empathy. House of Sand and Fog marks the arrival of a major new voice in American fiction. I thought it was good to stick it under young adult. The next book we have under kind of like the same category. This is The Other Woman by Jane Green. A little bit of rating in it. It is from 2006. This is kind of young marriage couples. In Jane Green's delicious novel, The Other Woman is the mother-in-law. Ellie thinks she's found the perfect man in Dan. She loves being accepted as part of his close-knit family until she begins to realize that Dan's mom, Linda, is a little too involved. Dan and Linda talk on the phone every day, twice a day, and then as Dan and Ellie's intimate civil wedding ceremony gets transformed into a black tie affair, Ellie begins to wonder if it's possible to marry the man without marrying his mother. As trouble mounts, Ellie turns to her friends, glamorous Lisa and wonderfully frazzled Trish, who tries to rediscover the independence she once had in the man she still loves. But it seems that having a child and saving a marriage means growing up in ways she'd never imagined. Sounds like a good read. Well, hello, Joel. The next book we have, and the last book in this, or no, there's two more in this set of books. This one's called Mother of Pearl. This was Oprah's book club. It's got some writing in it. It's got a little bit of foxing on the edges. It's a 1999, capturing all the rueful irony of racial ambivalence of small-town Mississippi in the late 1950s. Belinda Hayes' celebrated novel is wholly unforgettable exploration of family identity and redemption. Mother of Pearl revolves around a 28-year-old Evan Grade, a black man who grew up in an orphan, and valuable Corner, the 15-year-old white daughter of the town Ho, an unknown father. Both are passionately determined to discover the precious things neither experienced as children: human connection, enduring commitment, and above all, unconditional love. A startling, accomplished mixture of beauty, mystery, and tragedy, Mother of Pearl marks the debut of an extraordinary literary talent. So, I mean, some of these are like young adult, but they're literary, which I find that very cool. The next book we have for the last young adult book is called Terry and the Pirates by Julian F. Thompson. It is a 2000 copyright. Nice condition, really nice condition. When Terry's mom, with only best intentions, says it's time for her darling daughter to head to boarding school, Terry, with only best intention, knows it's time to take a hike. The hike she takes is as a stowaway on a yacht which is sweet. But the shipmate she intended, safe paternal type, turns out to be a boy who isn't big on wearing clothes till Terry shows up. Turns out he's running away too. And if it weren't so young, boys mature so slowly, Terry would say he was pretty nice, cute, okay, handsome. What's a yacht row without a romance? What's a yacht without a storm? What's a storm without a rescue? What's a rescue without pirates? What are pirates without treasure? Bloodthirsty plans, a talking Myrna bird, and a Komodo dragon. These are the questions master stylist Julius F. Thompson takes on in this swashbuckling new book, as fresh as the salt spray and as bracing. So this is that book. Well, welcome in, Johnny Blitz. So the next subject we have to cover is action and suspense, which is my favorite genre. Although I kind of like a book from everything, I guess. So we start with, hey Tupac, I'll get there one of these days. I've been busy organizing. I had some organizing I had to do. I'll get there. You just got to be patient with me. Okay. So, hello there. Hey, Na. Hey, DW. This is Blood Relations by Barbara Parker. Like I said, some of these got like a dark, because they're old. There's some writing in this one. It's from 1996. When a 17-year-old model claims she was raped in the VIP room of the South Beach nightclub by 3 high-profile men, it's up to Sam Hagen, head of major crimes for Dade County, to decide if they should put on a trial. Hagen's ambition to become the next state attorney outweighs his reluctance to be drawn back into the morale twilight of South Beach, where his teenage son died the year before. Hagen's investigation of the case only exacerbates his wife's ongoing grief over their son's death, broadening the guilt between them and driving him into the arms of the woman from his past. When a key witness is found brutally murdered, Hagen is swept into a storm of suspicion that leads into a shocking twist back into his own shattered family. So that's the first one in the action and suspense that I have up. Well, I miss you too, Tupac. I will get there, though. I haven't been on YouTube a lot lately. I need to catch up, though. I got so far behind, but I need to organize my bookstore. It was closed down because of COVID, and I have so many books I need to skedaddle. So, That's what I'm doing on Whatnot, trying to sell what I can. And then some of it will probably end up going into a yard sale eventually. Well, I miss you too. I miss talking to a bunch of people. I'm telling, when you sell, whew, keeps you busy. I used to sell once a month on YouTube. Now I'm doing it every week over here, so it's a lot of work. I don't know how some people do it every day. I couldn't. So the next book I have in the action and suspense, as we all know that have seen this movie, is Total Recall with with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So this one here is the book on it, and it definitely is aged, brown with age, from 1990. It says, how would you know if someone stole your mind? Recall the multi-million-dollar manufacture of the synthetic memories in the latter part of the 21st century. Their trained mind and planners can make the impossible possible, adding spice to their clients' mundane existences. The construction worker Douglas Quaid's vividly imagined Martian fantasy masks the deadly secret, his true identity, and he's being haunted by a killer from an invented past that has suddenly become frighteningly inexplicably real. Inexplicably. I guess that's how you say the name. So here is this one. So next we have Lingering Doubt by Warwick Downing. It's got some rating in the book. It's from 1993. Two brilliantly attorneys locked in a duel of wits. Jack Bard's an old war horse in horn-rimmed glasses whose 3 decades at the bar have failed to quench his belief in justice. Keen Williams is a smooth-faced, smooth-talking lawyer from the National Association of Special Prosecutors, eager for one notch more in his briefcase on the way to becoming California's Attorney General. Williams has convinced a jury that the murder case against Bard's client is airtight, but the knot in Bard's gut tells another story. Bard knows his client's innocence. A defendant posed between life and death when Jack Bard gave Durst's church a job as a messenger. The black youth was against all odds turning his life around. Then he was pinned with 2 murders, and all his dreams came crashing down. Now Bard's got 3 days to find more evidence to persuade the jury to forgo the death penalty, and if Bard doesn't uncover the stubborn truth, he'll be bearing more than a young man's hopes. So that is the next one in the action and suspense. Well, hello, Fleeing Pillow and Taka Taka Mutaka. Oh my gosh, some of these names are so cute. The next book we have in the action and suspense is called Family Values. This one here I have like in kind of poor condition because of the discoloration, and there's a little chip right there, but how it has that dark aged look to it. This is from 1997, and it's got some bends in it, but the pages are all there. Los Pilas Hills, with its winding suburban streets, is a world away from the violent inner city, but the gang of the ghetto teens who are holding Dan Messana's wife and family hostage have crossed the line. The computer executive has until the banks close to raise 400,000, or he'll hear nothing on his coffin but his family screams. The kids from the hood have nothing to lose. Dan does, but he knows he can't trust the police, and the bank won't release the money on such short notice. There's only one thing to do: cross the line himself, because it works both ways. So there is the next action and suspense. Let's see. What's after this one? Is this one? Okay, so the next one after this one, we have The 11th Hour by Brelly Warshauer. More of the dark look. This one here looks like something got spilled on it, or a marker leak. I don't know what that is. It's weird how it's just at the tips. And then that's it. The rest of the book's in good condition. It's 2003. They said he was the best. Lillian Lloyd has it all: talent, moves, and a record-breaking contract that can launch his career into the stratosphere until a severe injury ends his dreams before they began. But his new boss isn't giving up on his investment that easily. They said nothing could stop him. Without his knowledge, Julian is subjected to a radical new treatment, one that may revolutionize the world of medicine and can make people unimaginably rich. One that has yet to be proven or safe for humans. Not only does he recover, his performance actually improves. In other ways, however, he's changing for the worse, flying into out of control rages fueled by almost superhuman strength. Julian knows something is very wrong, and he's not alone. Someone is murdering those closest to the breakthrough. They were dead right, an unwilling pawn in a deadly game, suffering from the brutal side effects of an experiment gone lethally awry. Julian can't distinguish his friends from his enemies, but two detectives are getting closer to the truth. Now he's on the race to stop a killer before the clock runs out. That sounds interesting. Lots going on in that book. Well, hello. Hey, welcome in. Welcome, Raid. She said she was going to get me. Thanks so much for the raid. And hey, everybody. Hey, Zora. Hey, Rylove. Oh, just going through action and suspense books. So if anybody's interested, what I'll do, I have a good book in here I thought was really cute. I have it for $4, but I'll drop it for $1 for the raid. So let me change the price. And then I'll show you what the book is before I run it. because it looks like a cute one. Okay. So this book was from my young, it's a young adult, but it's kind of a literary, and I find it cute. So I figured I will run this. I had it for $4. It's a nice hardback, but I'll put it for $1 if anybody's interested as a thank you towards the raid. I don't have any giveaways. I'm sorry. I can't afford them right now. But this one here is Terry and the Pirates. And the story is about when Terry's mom, with only the best intentions, says it's time for her darling daughter to head to boarding school. Terry, with only best intentions, knows it's time to take a hike. The hike she takes is a stowaway on a yacht, which is sweet, but the shipmate she intended, save paternal type, turns out to be a boy who isn't big on wearing clothes. Till Terry shows up. Turns out he's running away too, and if he weren't so young, boys mature so slowly. Terry would think he was, well, pretty nice, cute, okay, handsome. What's a yacht without a romance? What's a romance without a storm? What's a storm without a rescue? And what's a rescue without pirates? What are pirates without treasure, bloodthirsty plans, a talking mynah bird, and a Komodo dragon? These are the questions master stylist Julia F. Thompson takes on this swashbuckling new book, as fresh as salt spray and as bracing. And it just looks like a funny book. And it's from the year 2000, and it's in really good condition. It's like new. So if you're interested, I'm going to run it as a thank you, because I think rays are so sweet. I love animals and pirates and books like this. Rays are so much fun on Whatnot. I appreciate them so much. So if you're interested in this one, there you go. That's funny, Zora. But I try to take a really good book down as a thank you, because I think I do. I love raids. I love being a part of them, not just getting them. I love raiding other people. We have this one guy in Lex, and Rye knows who I'm talking about, Trevor. He always goes into and he raids a show and says, sell your shirt. And it is hysterical. These people actually do sell their shirts. And one night we went in and he had a couple who were married, Vegas, what is it, Florida to Vegas. He had them switch shirts. I never laughed so hard in my life, because Lauren's like this real tiny lady and her husband's like a tall, bigger man. And her shirt was so tight on him, it was hysterical. And she was like swimming in his shirt. But it's just cute that the sellers participate in it too. It's really funny. Yeah, it's a blast. I love it when they do that kind of stuff. It's just so fun. She knows we hang out over there and we find out what some of these people do is crazy. I never did find out. Trevor had wanted what's his name? Keith's Burberry hat signed and sent. I don't know if Keith ever did it or not. But I thought it was hysterical when he asked him. Everybody wants Keith to sell that hat. It's comical. Okay, so the next book I have, this one here. Patricia Cornwell's been around for a while. I see a lot of her books even out. I don't know why my books keep falling over here. Let me get this posted here. I know. I love it. It's awesome. Really? Pirate Day. Never heard of it. That's awesome. So this is Book of the Dead by Patricia Cornwell. Like I said, most of my books are used because I own a used bookstore. Sometimes I'll come across some new ones. This is 2008. There she is. She was the winner of the British Book Awards book True direct crime thriller of the year. Nice. Starting over with a unique private forensic pathology practice in the historic city of Charleston, South Carolina seems like an ideal situation for Scarpetta and her colleagues, Pete Marino and her niece Lucy. And then comes the deaths. A 16-year-old tennis star fresh from a tournament when in Charleston is found nude and mutilated near Piazza Navona in Rome. The body of an abused young boy is dumped in a desolate marsh, a woman ritualistic murdered in her multi-million-dollar beach home. Meanwhile, in New England, problems with a prominent patient at Hartford-affiliated psychiatric hospital began to hint at interconnections among the deaths that are hard to imagine as they are horrible. Scarpetta has dealt with many brutal and unusual crimes before, but never a string of them as baffling or as terrifying as the ones facing her now. Before she is through, that book of the dead will contain many names, and the pen may be poised to write her own. So that's what this is about. Do you still have that book you showed me the last time I was in your thing too? The servants books, like from Downtown Abbey. If you have that, save it for me. I have to wait till Friday for payday. But I want to buy that book if you haven't sold it yet. Last word. If she's still in here. I don't know if she's still in here or not. Happy hostess. Welcome in. And anytime I purchase off of somebody on whatnot, I do a video on my YouTube unboxing. I have so much fun doing that because it kind of gives a free shout out to people over here and things that they sell. In case people didn't know that, I do that. And my YouTube channel is under the same name, by the way. The next book I have is definitely a beloved. She is very popular. Is Mary Higgins Clark, Before I Say Goodbye. I have read many of her books. Her books are so good. This has got a little bit of discoloration, like some darkened. Other than that, it's pretty good for 2000 is the copyright. When Nell McDermott learns that her husband, architect Adam Coliff, and 3 of his business associates have died in an explosion of his new cabin cruiser. And thank you so much for the hearts, too. I appreciate that. He is not only devastated, but racked with guilt. The first time they had a bitter quarrel over her plan to run for the congressional seat, long held by her grandfather, she told him not to come home. As the investigation to the boat's explosion proceeds, Nell learns that it's not an accident, but a bomb. Despite her skepticism, Nell is swayed by her great-aunt Gert, a believer in psychic powers, to see a medium claiming to be Adam's channel. While trying to unravel the threads of Adam's past and his violent end, Nell consults the medium who transmits messages to her through instructions from Adam. The story reaches a powerful climax when Nell's final encounter with the medium, in which she learns the truth about the explosion, truth she can't be allowed to live and tell. So there's that. Yes, and if anybody ever is a seller, when I get more people in here, one of these days I'll be able to return raids back. I've had a few, but yeah, I try to because I want people to know about whatnot because it is a great community over here. You know, whether you're a small seller or a big seller, I have a blast in every stream I go in. There's not too many streams that I don't like. I mean, they have to be pretty rude. But I haven't really come across anybody like that yet. Do you know that the first time I was in his stream, Trevor's stream, there was a troll in there and I actually got banned. It was so funny because I'm very outspoken because I've dealt with trolls and it's, you know, because YouTube, you deal with them a lot. And I had made the comment and they took it wrong. I knew they did once it came out of my in text, and I had to text them and tell them what I meant. As I meant it as they took it that I was talking to them, but that's not how I meant it, Rye. I said it's sad because the troll that came in was accusing them of having fake items. And I typed it, it's sad that there are fake sellers that ruin it for others, meaning in defense of Trevor, but it wasn't taken that way. I think they thought I was another troll because they didn't know me yet. I got slapped so hard. I was being like in seconds. And I had just typed right before they kicked me about bringing out a paddle, smacking the troll, and they didn't catch it till after they kicked me. So I sent him a message. I'm like, really? You kicked me defending you. I said I wasn't speaking against you. I was actually defending you because I do know that there's fake sellers on here. And I do know one big one. Believe me, I had a big, long fight with Whatnot, and I became the fashion police on here for a week. I kid you not. I did Whatnot's job for them with receipts and proof, fighting to get my money back because I was furious when I found out they were fakes. And they still let them sell, but yet against their own rules. And I even sent their own rules back to them. And the reply I got was, well, we can't tell you what we do to other people and I said, I never asked what you did to them. I just know that they're here and you're still allowing them to sell fake shit. And it's hurting the small sellers who are buying from them because they're reselling their shit. That's how I found out off of another seller. I had purchased a fake one. She didn't know she was buying from a fake seller. And now they're polluting eBay. And I know I got pictures of the exact purses. Even the stitching was out of line. Kid you not. And it makes you so mad, because their own policy says that they will get rid of people that sell. They didn't get rid of them. They did nothing. That's me too. I study everybody I buy from now because of what happened. And it was just, oh my goodness. And and people that don't understand the gumball game, they don't understand that there's ceilings and there's low floors that help make up to buy the bigger purses. And like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people come in Trevor Street. That's not really a Birkin. There's no way you're selling a Birkin in here for $300. They don't realize it's in a game. Like, we know the whole picture. But the newbies coming in trolling them, thinking that they have no clue what they're talking about because we see it all. The whole game from the beginning to the end. You got to be in the stream the whole time to understand how it works. And I even made that announcement on my YouTube channel too. About the game. Is like, if you don't understand the game, you don't understand how they get away with it. How they can. It's not that they're getting away with anything bad. They're actually bringing luxury to people that can't afford to pay for the luxury. And I try to stress it so much so people understand that they are selling legit things. I defend the good people. But when I had to go after, there was some not so nice emails between me and Whatnot because I was telling them off. I said, what the hell do I look like, the fashion police? I shouldn't be doing your job. You pay people to do this stuff. You should be authenticating this stuff before people sell it. And sellers should know their shit before they sell it. And it's sad that some don't, and they just want to join in. But the fight that I had for them lasted weeks. It was ridiculous. I was like mentally tired from fighting with them. But yeah, I was able to, I never did either. I was never able to afford, I never even heard of Louis Vuitton until I joined YouTube. And a friend of mine that I follow won some kind of wallet off of somebody. And she's like, look, here's this Louis Vuitton. I'm like, what's Louis Vuitton? Because when I was growing up, I'm in a small town and like our biggest store was a Kaufman's. The only thing I knew about was some designer perfumes. But I never really paid attention to purses because my mom was a JCPenney's person. And even that was high for us because we used to shop at the 5 and 10 when I was a kid. So J.C. Penney's and Sears was like our Nordstroms, you should say, for like California people. Their Rodeo Drive was our J.C. Penney's and Sears. So like our purses were my mom's hand-me-downs or yard sale or thrifting purses. Like we just never paid attention. And it's so funny because since I started these games right, it was awesome to be able to give my kids some designer stuff. Like my oldest daughter turned 40 and I gave her one of the designer purses. I let her choose from 3 that I won in a games for her 40th birthday. And she was like, Mom, I never paid attention to luxury because was raised with us. You know, she says she always got her stuff at yard sales. She says, I take this purse everywhere I go. And then I have another one that's going to be a Christmas present that I put aside. And then my youngest daughter, it was so funny because I won a Stephen Madden wallet that was black and gave it to her. She says, Mom, I love this wallet. She said, I was just getting rid of my wallet. She goes, who's Stephen Madden? I said, I don't know, but it feels good. Because it was a quilted wallet. And my colors, it's really funny because even in fashion, my biggest scare, because I'm not really a reseller of fashion, is when it's something pink. I don't like the color pink. My colors are black, and I like fall colors. Like it depends. Like I like the black and like gray Coach type purses. And the only thing I've ever found that I absolutely love in Louis Vuitton is the black with the blue symbols. I don't get into the browns when it comes to purses. I've never had a brown purse. So it's like, you know, even when we like our fashion, we still like particular designs. And the only purse I like that's light colored that I own is green. I have a cute little green purse. I don't know if I still have a picture of it on my computer to show, or on my phone to show you. This is my favorite. I'll never find it. I love this. If I can get this in a small crossbody, I would be so happy. That's Tammy's colors. And I don't like I like these colors, but I don't like the camel color around it. If that was like, if the strap and the top of that was black, it'd be perfect. But I have my favorite. I'm even picky on fashion. Isn't that awful? And there are some people that are just happy to win the name, where to me, it's the designs. I'm so picky on the designs. But like this is something I would like in green. I like this color and the dark green color. Like I can show you in a little bit of time. I don't have like a big variety of favorites. And there was a purse I had bought off of I think it was Tracy Harris that sells these. I got this purse off of her and I absolutely adore it. I think I took the picture off though. It's green and it's got a bow on it, and it's a Nanette Pochette. Never heard of her either. We don't have a Nordstrom. I found out that was sold in Nordstrom's when I Googled the purse itself. But I love that purse. And I've taken it out 3 times since I've gotten it so far. It's been my summer purse. And I get compliments every time I take this purse out. But I think I did. I removed the picture. But it's upstairs. It's cute. I showed it to somebody, but I can't remember who it was. But it is adorable. But it's off my phone. Okay, I gotta get back to selling her. I'll be here all night. But I love conversations on here too. And I'm a crafter. And that's another thing I want to get back to. I miss crafting because I was crafting on YouTube. And I make stuff like this. Books that have fallen apart, I've repurposed and turned them into journals. This is my talent that I love to do, but I don't know where it comes from. Sometimes I look at this book and I'm like, where did this come from in my brain? But this is the kind of art and stuff I like to play with. This is like one of my favorites. And this is why I like cards. All these people that complain about these Louis Vuitton cards are winning. Why? You can craft with them if you can't sell them. You can add them into pockets. You can do all kinds of stuff with them. But I had a ball. It took me a year to create this. But this is the kind of stuff I like to do. Took me a long time. But it's so much fun. And I make all different kinds of styles. Like this one here. This is just a glue book. And this paper came from the Dollar Tree. It's just wrapping paper. And then this is out of my junk mail that comes in my mail. I cut stuff out of magazines and used stickers and just made a glue book. Glue books are so much fun. And these are signatures. And what you do is you fold your papers, whatever kind of papers you want to use, and you sew them back into the book. And this is what the signatures look like. I have some stuff on this under my crafty styles. I did an altered book from beginning to end in videos. But that's what I can't wait to get back to. I miss it. But I got to get rid of my bookstore books first. COVID shut me down. I think we all went through that as little businesses. So it's been helping me organize as I sell my books here. And then once I get my books downsized, it became my craft room and half bookstore. So I'm trying to turn it into a complete craft room with some books. But I had so many books, it's crazy. Yes, it's a lot of fun. I got into the community over here when I started YouTube. And then I met a guy who I thought was a scammer on Facebook. And this is my bookstore. To prove I'm real, he did an interview and he made a book with all the bookstores in West Virginia called Bookstore Explorer in West Virginia by Matt Browning, and he published my store. And if it wasn't for YouTube, this would have never happened. YouTube and Facebook. So I got a copy. He was really nice. He messaged me through Facebook and I go, "Are you a scammer?" He says, "No." He says, "Look at my page." I go, "But you never know." And then we set up a meeting and that's how it all happened. So it was really nice. Hey, KHES. Who else is over here? I got to check my YouTube. I'm streaming in both places. So things can happen. You just never know. I started on Instagram before here. I actually had an eyeshadow named after me, which is very interesting because I was never a makeup person. And when I started Instagram before YouTube, I met some beauty people, makeup artists and stuff. And there was a girl trying to launch her company. And she had like models wearing her lipsticks and things like that. But family life took over. But I kept telling her, keep going, because we lift each other. And So she named an eyeshadow after me. She called it Tammy. And it was so funny. And there was a great big thing about it where she thanked me for encouraging. Isn't that crazy? But all this stuff happened with the web. Like you never know what's going to happen until you come on the web. And here's the author of the book that this is him and me in front of my bookstore when he did the interview. I posted everything on there, but my first Instagram got hacked, which really makes me mad because they won't do anything about it. I've tried to have the account shut, but they won't shut it. So it's under Tammy's Passions 21 now. And it was sad because I was almost at 3,000 subscribers on that account. And this hacker took it, and it's been a mess, and I can't get it shut down. So I was trying to get everybody onto my new account. It's been a struggle to get everybody moved, but oh well, what are you going to do? So I almost just didn't even go back to Instagram, but I have so many friends over there. I hate doing it. Now my account, this is my account now. And the other account, I'll show you, it's still there. I told him to take it down because a hacker took it. I contacted Google. I mean, it comes up even in search engine under my name. This is my other account that's hacked. It's got my dog's picture on it. I tried everything to prove it was me, and they wouldn't listen. I even sent them a picture of my license, and they just wouldn't give it back. So it's just stuck there. I told my husband it makes me mad, though, because when you type my real name in, that comes up. And I don't want people to think it's me when it's not, because there's a lot of people online that trust me because they've known me for a long time. Oh, it's just irritating. But anyways, I have videos out about it and stuff. It's just, because when I went into the Google pages, I'd said it needed updated because that was no longer my page, and they still won't take it down. You have to be able to sign in to your accounts to delete everything. Well, how are you supposed to sign into it if you can't get into it? So every time somebody joins that account, I get the email for it because my email's attached to it. But what the hacker did was set up the second step that I can't get past, where it goes to their cell phone for the second. That's why I can't get it back. So I told them, thanks. Every time somebody joins that channel, right, I sent a response email. Thanks for telling me who joined my hacked account for them to get hacked too. I enjoy this. It's very thrilling to know that you keep letting people join this account to see them go down like my account went down. I said, thanks for that notification. And they do nothing. They do absolutely nothing. I contacted their investors. Like, I looked up everybody I could get a hold of, sent an email to the owner, went at them on Twitter, everything, and they won't do a thing. I'm like, there's no way you guys cannot have the power to shut that account down. I just want it to be shut down. But they don't want to hear it. It's like you almost got to get a lawyer. And I don't have the money for a lawyer, or I would, believe me. Because it just makes you mad when my grandkids' pictures on there and there's a hacker in it. You feel violated. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want somebody running around with my grandkids' pictures. I don't know. So this is Boy in the Water by Stephen Dobson. Dr. Jim Hawthorne has taken a job no one else would as headmaster of a failing Bishop's Hill Academy. Though no one understands why, Hawthorne has his reasons, but someone is haunting him, pulling pranks to become more and more ominous, trying to drive him out or drive him crazy. And when a student is killed, found floating in the academy pool with a kitten balancing frantically on its back. The floodgates are open for a murderer who will stop at nothing to quell his own dark demons with human carnage. A kitten? A poor kitten, too. What a book. Some of these books are crazy. But yeah, I mean, you deal with stuff, but it's just irritating. It's just like I told my husband, we couldn't get into our Paramount account the other night on our TV to watch movies. And so I signed in with the email I signed up with. I'm getting links. I only have 3 emails and I'm getting links to none of them. So I told my husband I had to go in and cancel it because we can't even watch the movies and we're paying for it. Well, they keep saying to sign in with your account and your password, so I did a forgotten password. So that's why I said the link didn't come to my email, and I know what email I used. But it's not coming to that email, so I don't know what's going on with that. So I told him it's sad there isn't another way a person can confirm who they are without using an email or a password in case they forget it. They don't give you another option. That's why I can't get around the hacker on that account because I don't have any other options. They should have like a phone number where you could call in, prove who you are, and then shut it down. But of course not. They can't make it that easy for us people. It's crazy. Well, welcome in, Kaylee Bud. So here is the next book. And this is called Dark Paradise by Tammy Hogue. It's got some dark pages, like dark edges. 1997. New Eden, Montana is a piece of heaven on earth while one woman died in her own private hell. Now it's up to ex-court reporter Marty Jennings to decipher the puzzle of her best friend's death, but someone has a stake in silencing her suspicion. Someone with secrets worth killing for and the power to turn this beautiful haven into a dark paradise. And as Marty digs deeper beneath in New Eden's picture-perfect exterior, finding the truth is suddenly no longer a matter of justice. So here is a Tammy Hogue book. I need to find a Tammy Hogue author reader that likes her because I have a few of her books. And my next book, I think, is this the last one in the action suspense? Yes. This is the last book in the action suspense that I have for today. This one does not have a jacket. It is called Once Is Not Enough by Jacqueline Susan. It's from 1973. It's pretty good condition even for not having a jacket. Once upon a time, the entertainment industry was a world that never slept. Yes, I stuck this insert in here and I can't spell. Magazine editors, models, pop stars, and all the rest visited vitamin doctors to get the shots. They would allow them to stay up all night and then work all day in offices decorated with beanbag chairs and Calder skew mobiles. In this world, January Wayne goes from poor little rich girl to grown-up swinger. The year after this book's publication in 1974, the author died of breast cancer. That's sad. So that is this one. Oh, Maya! Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for the tip. You're so sweet. Hubby said her pistachios taste different. And I said, is that good or bad? He says, they taste good. And I said, well, she did say they were organic. What do you mean, why am I making people sad? I'm reading the synopsises of the books. Silly lady. When is your next sale? I have everything bookmarked. Every time I come into you guys' lives, I try to bookmark your shows because I always forget. So I got to make sure I bookmark you all. But I'm glad you got to come in. You're so funny. Okay, we are on to another topic called religion. That was the action and suspense books. Now we're going into biblical. Are you ready to be preached at? Here, The 5 Silent Years of Corrie ten Boom by Pamela Roswell. I don't know if I could stay silent for 5 years. That'd be asking a lot. This has got some rating in it. I don't know why somebody wrote in it, but this is from 1986. And the rest of the book is there, but somebody had fun with a marker, it looks like. But I'm a used bookstore, so that happens. For a moment, I froze. In front of me, lying on her back, her chin pressed into her chest at a strange angle, I attained Corrie. She looked up at me with agonized blue eyes, an expression that could only be described as pleading. I'm sorry if this sounds sad, Maya. I can't help it. Pam Roswell had had her doubts when she interviewed to be companion of much-loved author Corrie ten Boom. Corrie's best-selling book, The Hiding Place, which recounted how she and her family had hidden Jews during World War II in Holland until their betrayal and arrest by the Nazis, had launched for Corrie a worldwide ministry of travel and speaking. Awed by the spiritual challenge this companionship posed, Pam wondered how she could keep up with the energetic 83-year-old, but God knit a strong bond between the young Englishwoman and the remarkable Dutch evangelist. Then Corrie suffered a stroke. Hospitalized, let's get a bent corner. Hospitalization followed physical therapy, then long living hours at home. Corrie regained little mobility for a time until the next stroke hit. She never regained her speech. But the ministry that had touched millions continued as Corrie communicated through her eyes, through elaborate guessing games with those around her, through silent intercession for people God brought to mind. For those 5 silent years of imprisonment, Corrie's spiritual death offered mute testimony to her ongoing trust in her Heavenly Father. The details of these years will move all who loved Corrie ten Boom. They will encourage those involved with the elderly or handicapped and those who themselves are bedridden that God is at work mysteriously in and through even the most incapacitated. This book attests to the truth that Corrie loved so dearly that in spite of everything else, Jesus was always a victor. So there. Hopefully that had a good ending for you. Uh-oh. You're in a nasty mood. Are you one of them people that's got to have coffee first? Hey, Arkham Knight 57. My hubby's like that. He growls until he has coffee. He's one of those people. Yes, I can do that too. I'm streaming through YouTube and people tell me all the time that I can read them to sleep. I'm like, okay, I can do that. Sometimes I have sales, sometimes I don't have sales, but I'm okay with it. It's helping me organize. What not helps me organize my just like you have a shit show, I have a shit book show. I wonder what people would do if I titled my show that shit book show. Oh my gosh, you're so funny, woman. You made me laugh so hard I almost couldn't do your unboxing. I was laughing before I even, just looking at your box made me laugh because I knew it was coming. Mighty Men, Armor Bearers of Our Pastor, Floyd D. Carey. I love doing unboxings of whatnot on my YouTube channel so people can see the kind of fun we have and what we buy from people, I just love it. I love the fun we have in the streams. This is 1995. Mission code as an armor bearer. I'm telling you, people on YouTube, you're missing a lot if you haven't seen Maya. She's a riot. An arm bearer for my pastor, duly commissioned by Holy Scripture, I'm committed to standing alongside him, defending him, mapping strategies with him, and advancing the mission in the local church, with him embracing the values of honor, trust, pride, and the valor of a companion. So there you go, men. There's a book for you. Pinky! There's Penguin Boss. Let me get you up here. Gotta give her moderator. I'm gonna make Maya a moderator too, just because she's stubborn. And oh my gosh, you two have to meet. Maya, this is Penguin Boss. Penguin Boss is one of the lives I mod for. She's in the paper ephemera. Thank you, Maya. I know, Maya, because my stuff is cheap. But you two meet each other. Maya is into really nice purses, and she's in the luxury tennis. She cracks me up, Lillian. She's hysterical. Lillian is Penguin Boss. Penguin Boss is who I started selling under. She was the second person that I met through Whatnot. Technically, I knew Viv on YouTube, and she brought me to Whatnot. And then Ghost in the Attic was my first purchase, Melissa. And then I met Penguin Boss along the line through Melissa, because they're all in the paper ephemera. Okay. So, but they're a lot of fun. Oh my gosh. One of these days, Penguin Boss, you got to come in and check out my shit show. She's so funny. You and Tracy have to check out her show because she is hysterical. She even had my husband laughing, and that's no easy thing to do. He was cracking up. Leading with Integrity by Donald S. Altman. These, I think, are for people who want to go into ministry themselves. This is a 1996, and it doesn't have a synopsis, so I'm going to go straight to the contents because I do believe that's what this is about. Yes. The Call of God, Grace and Anointing, Ephesians Ministries, what is Christian leadership, the case for Christian leadership. This will be good for somebody that wants to become a pastor or somebody that wants to teach like Sunday school and stuff. It gives you ideas and teaches what's going on. So this is really cool, like a team leadership type of thing too. So that's what this book is about. I keep my books cheaper because of shipping. I feel sorry for people that's going to pay high shipping. But just think about it, though. Where can you go that you can get 10 books for $10? So, and I do believe that doesn't Whatnot combine shipping now? Maya, you belong anywhere. You have that persona. You could pull off any category. I truly believe it. You can even sell snacks. Just think, Maya selling shitty candy. Oh my God, that would be hysterical. Oh my gosh, you're so funny. But you do very good English. You do like To me, your English is more blunt than most people I know. Like, you speak it better and really down to earth, the people that I've known that spoke it their whole life. Seriously. The next one we have is the book. And of course, we know what the book is. It is the Bible. And this one here, I'll tell you what version it is, because some people like specific versions. Maybe I'll tell you what version. I believe this is not King James. So this is definitely paraphrased by Tyndale House Publishing Company in 1998. The Bible, the book, is easy to understand translation with topical resource in the front to direct you to just the verse you need when you need it. Other helpful features include a listing of favorite Bible stories, book introductions, and Bible reading plan. Begin the adventure today. I love that cover. It is a paperback though, but it's in good condition. So there's that one. And thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you for your tips. Woman, what am I going to do with you? And thank you for your purchases. You're so sweet, Maya. I feel spoiled. Hey, Books and Kicks and CHR Matt. My husband keeps trying to take my bag off of me, Maya, that I got from you. And I go, that's my bag. I said, you can't have it. Maya, you're so funny. You should see him eyeing up my bags. He's hysterical. I'm trying to talk Esme into selling me her Neverfull. And I'm waiting for her answer because she has it up for one price and I'm trying to get her down. So if she said she'd give me a deal, she drew my name out of that Neverfull 2 times to win prizes in a row. I told her, I said, you and that Neverfull are my lucky bags. My lucky charms. Stand by Your Pasture by Floyd D. Carey, God's partnership plan for the local church. So this is a pasture, what your pasture should mean to you. 1995. Yes. You have to stand by your pasture. So it says. Jumpman. Oh my God, that's so funny. Esme's come in to visit me before. But I can put people to sleep. I like putting people to sleep. I used to have people pack orders for their Etsy stores and stuff, and they would come in and listen to me sell books and just listen while they were packing orders. So that was kind of nice. Thank you for sharing me out. Thank you. And the next book I have, this one here, I really wasn't sure if I should put it under biblical or not, but I found it interesting because this doesn't have like scriptures where you look up stuff, but it's a guy's interpretation of the Last Supper through the painting. So I left it in biblical because it is kind of educational seeing it from somebody else's perspective. So this is The Secret Supper by Javier Sierra. Love the inside of it. The book is in really good condition. It's a 2006 book. And this is what it says. Tightly paced and atmospheric, The Secret Supper is a dazzling historical thriller with unique vision of both Leonardo da Vinci's genius and his masterpiece, which you will never look at the same way again. Milan, 1497, Leonardo is completing the Last Supper. Pope Alexander VI is determined to execute him after realizing that the painting contains clues to a baffling and blasphemous message that has driven him to decode. The Holy Grail and the Eucharistic bread are missing. There's no meat on the table, and the apostles shockingly are portraits of well-known heretics, and none of them are depicted with halos. And why has the artist painted himself into the scene with his back turned towards Jesus? The clues to Leonardo's greatest puzzle are right before your eyes. But it sounds interesting, so I left it in this category. Kind of like a mystery type thing. Hey, I hear ya. I read this one book one time that was so horrible. I like true crime, but this book was so badly written. I think it was called The Little Boy in Blue or something like that. It was about a dad that took his son on a killing spree. It took me 5 months to get through this book. It was so horrible because I can read a novel like in a couple hours, depending on how fast paced it is. But this guy was all over the place, like it didn't have an order to it. He would be talking in one of his chapters in one time period, and then he's in the past, and you're like, what the heck? Like it wasn't in chronological order. So you didn't know if you were in the past or the present when he was writing. I hate books like that. I was so confused. Yes, God loves you, Maya. I say he does. He cannot love somebody that doesn't have your sense of humor. This is The God Chasers by Tommy Tenney. It's got some writing in the top of it. It is a 2000. And it says a God chaser is a person whose passions for God's presence presses him to chase the impossible in hopes that the uncatchable might catch him. A child chases a loving parent until suddenly the strong arms of the father enfold the chaser. The pursuer becomes the captive, the pursued the captor. Paul put it this way: I chased after that I may catch that which apprehended me. Philippians 3:12. Job was a God chaser. Actually, Job's my favorite. That's my favorite book in the Bible. He said, oh, I know where I might find him. David was one, he said, my soul followeth hard after thee. Paul was one too, that I may know him. The passionate paths of God chasers can be traced through the pages of history from Moses to Stutterer, David the singer, and Paul the itinerant preacher, to contemporaries like A.W. Tozer, Leonard Ravenhill, and countless others who share one common bond, an insatiable hunger to know their Lord. These are people who are relentless, passionate pursuit of Christ often made them appear foolish in the eyes of others, yet having tasted his goodness and glimpsed the invisible, they could be satisfied with nothing less. And here is this one. You know, this is my saying, Maya, because sometimes when you get into churches, you have the biggest hypocrites of all, because they think everybody's supposed to be perfect. You know, you get them people when you go to church and look down on you because you come in bare feet or you're dirty or something. And I think that's terrible, because you don't go to church because you're perfect. For all these hypocrite people out there that'll hear this message, listen up and listen close. You go to church because you're imperfect, trying to find a guidance to help you be a better person. So all you people that think you're better than everybody else, you're not. Because that's what church is about. It's because we're not perfect. But you got to love them people that are snobby, that look down their nose at you, Maya. I know that feeling. I know those type of people. But truthfully, I know I'm not perfect. I accepted it a long time ago. Heck, I even have a ticket that says one side you're going to burn in hell, the next side says you're going to go to heaven. You know what I said? My soul's going to rotate. Because God says, I don't want her up here. She's too ornery. And the devil's going to say, I don't want her down here either because she's a troublemaker. So my soul's going to be going boing, boing like a ping pong bottle for eternity. That's what I've always told people. Diving, experience Jesus through spiritual disciplines. And this is diving deep. And looks like a really cool book. This could be good for any age. It's got all kinds of fun stuff to read. It says there is a soul hunger in students today to be challenged spiritually, to go deeper with God, deeper into a spiritual discipline life. A spiritual life without candy coating, stripped down, honest, real. That's what we are, Maya. We are real. Spiritually that grips hearts, converts souls, and transforms lives. Diving deep offers a creative, ancient future approach to traditional spiritual discipline like worship, solitude, prayer, fasting, service, and study. In this book, you'll find 13 flexible, interactive lessons for training students in the spiritual disciplines, bonus ideas for incorporating spiritual disciplines into your student ministry, spiritual training that appeals to students of all spiritual levels, capturing their hearts with a desire and means to go deeper with God, a retreat plan full of opportunities to engage a full in life-changing spiritual disciplines that will bring students into closer contact with God. So that's what that book's about. Diving deep. I don't know. I have no clue. But if I find anything, I will let you know. Because I have boxes that I open, go through the boxes, clean them. Here's my story, Maya. Are you ready? I had a bookstore that I opened in the bottom of my home. My used bookstore came from a friend of mine that was throwing books away, and I always wanted a new bookstore. And so what happened was I was in church, believe it or not, when this happened. I was visiting this church that was new. And I kept saying, God, I ain't getting any younger because I always wanted a new bookstore. But by the time I got out of high school, they were selling out because people like Walmart and stuff were popping up. And a lot of the bookstores closed. It never dawned on me to have a used bookstore at this time. My dream was to open up a bookstore with a cute storefront, but own the building, not pay or lease or rent. And for people who needed time, like to go grocery shopping with their kids, I was going to hire a kid part-time from high school who was going into childcare to come in, and we would do refreshments and read story time to the kids and take a couple hours and tell the parents, hey, you can go grocery shop and do your thing. You could drop your kid off here, and we will do this for them. This was always my dream. But by the time I got out of school, it didn't work out that way. So years later, years and years later, I think I've done about everything there can be done in jobs. I've worked so many jobs, I lost count because they either moved away or relocated. But I have been into airbrushing paint onto plastic light up products for Christmas. I used to be an airbrush painter. I've worked in photography studio. Where you just develop. I have worked as my college degree is in psychology. I've worked with the mentally ill. I've done a lot, but I wanted my bookstore. So I opened up one in the bottom of my home, and I'm also certified in computers, but don't tell anybody because I don't want to fix shit, especially with the newer stuff. I'm out of the loop. It's been a while. So anyways, I opened up my bookstore in my house, and I have a garage down here that held the inventory. Well, the inventory roof got a leak. So I had to move all the books into my house. I know my YouTube people probably tired of hearing this story. I brought everything into the store because of the leaky roof. And then all of a sudden, my 14-year-old, because we moved in this house, we didn't, it already had a hot water heater, decided to blow up. So the bottom came out. I had a fountain shooting through the top, lost inventory. And I just keep thinking water's chasing my books because I want to keep them away from mold. So because they've been moved around so much, I can't tell you what's where because it turned into such a mess. So as I unbox books, clean them up, and then get them ready for the sale here, you see them when I see them. And I try to, do genres as best I can. Sometimes I have to do double genres because you never know what's going to come out of the boxes. And some guy was like, why don't you unbox and do your videos? I said, no, because some of them have spiders in the boxes. I don't think so. I have to go through and clean everything to make sure it's all good for the sales because they've got a bit dusty sitting here. And then COVID hits. It shuts my store down. So no matter what, I was screwed at the time. So now I came to Whatnot because when COVID shut everything down, I decided to turn my bookstore half craft store, because I create crafts too. So it became my craft room. So I decided to come on here to try to sell off as much book inventory as I can. And I'm organizing it in totes now. Yeah, I don't want no spiders. Hey, Mom's Upcycle Designs. That sounds cool because I upcycle too. Here's one of my creations, Maya. I showed Rye before you came in. This is a book that I turned into a journal. This is what I do craft-wise. So this is like upcycling to me. This is a hidden signature journal. And this is what I do for crafting. And this is why I don't mind cards. This is a playing card, Maya. So when people complain about the Louis Vuitton cards and stuff, dude, I can find stuff to do with these cards. And this is a regular playing card glued to an envelope. And then there's like a secret little message place. I love to journal. So this is what I found in my life on YouTube. Never heard of junk journals or crafty journals. So I went to YouTube and then I got into it. And this is what I started making. Books that are falling apart, I could return into these. I combine them with a spiral binder, or I can do altered book, signature book. This is actually a hidden signature because the signature doesn't show. This one here is one that it does show. This is what signatures are when they're sewn back into the books. And this is actually made with wrapping paper from the Dollar Tree, and this is a glue book. This just goes to show you some different styles. But if you want to, and this is all my junk mail that comes in on magazines that I stick in this. I just decorate and have fun. This is what I did when my bookstore got shut down. So these are the kind of things you can do. And signatures are just like pages that you take and fold, and then you re-sew them back into the book. And then I'll show you what the center of a signature looks like. You tie them in. I have videos on how to do this on YouTube somewhere. I have one on my crafty styles on how to do an altered book. And then this is in memory of my 2 cats. And I will write you down for religious Muslim books. And if I come across any, I will definitely let you know. I have a notebook that I write down people's requests. Okay. Get you written down, Maya. Because you never know what's going to pop out of these boxes for sure. And this is just an altered book where you go through a book, it's falling apart. Like you can tell this one was dry rotted. I'll show you where it's falling apart. Right there. And what I did was I count like I go through so many pages and tear out 5 in a row. And I keep doing it through the whole book to downsize it so I can rebuild it up. And I had these 2 cats, Heather and Hope, for 21 and 22 years before they passed away. And I made a book. They were sisters from the same litter. You're quite welcome. So I made a book with their memory. It's not done yet. It's my Hopi. I miss my Hopi. She was a good kitty cat. And then I made pockets. But you could do anything with journals. If you don't write, you can make memory books of an animal or your kids or your grandkids. So this is just one of the books I made. It goes from Halloween into fall colors. There's my husband. Look, him sleeping with Heather. She was his baby. And then I have one, it's a postcard book. I just added all my postcards I collected through the years to it. I have books for everything. Seriously, I do. I love journals. And then this one here is Youth Ministry in the 21st Century. This is actually another book that could go hand in hand with the one book I showed. This is from 2006. The Basics of Faith, Everyday Faith, Faith Express, Spiritual Training, Community Building, Parents, Outreach and Evangelism, and Postmodernism. So, somebody wants books on becoming a youth pastor. These are good for that. It's amazing what comes out of these boxes. It really is. Welcome in, everybody. Cinnamon and Fleming. I'm missing everybody. Sometimes on here, it's like a revolving door. People just come in and out so fast. I can't keep up. They make my head spin. Hey, Fleming's Finds. So that's where my talent pretty much lays. And I have stamps. This is the postcard book. This came from Australia. Another friend of mine made this that I met through YouTube, and I bought it off of her. And I put all my cards in here, but then I took stamps, postage stamps off my Christmas envelopes that I thought were cute and saved them into the book. I glued them in to save it. So that's what this is, like a postcard stamp book. Like I said, you can use journals for a lot of reasons. Many different things. Then I said a prayer for you today. I found this, so I put it in here. And then this is when I went to Great Wolf Lodge. I forgot to turn in my key card. They changed them, but I stuck it in here for vacation. And somebody made this and mailed it to me. So I added that in. It's like a postcard. So that's what I did with this one. There's just so many things. And then I turned another one. I took a cracker box and used the cover and turned it into, you know, the place where you keep like people's eulogies and stuff. And those little things you get at the funeral home, like of my family and people that close to me passed away. I have a book I keep those in too for memory. You could basically have a journal for everything. And then this here is called Building Community and Youth Groups by Denny Ryberg. So if anybody's into building a community, this is a nice guide. Build bonds and establish trust in your group. Open up, creating a safe environment to talk and listen. Affirm each other, offering sincere compliments to each other, taking risks and experience growth. Set and share goals as your teenager becomes more accountable to each other. Here are over 100 ready-to-use creative activities and discussion starters to break down barriers between young people and develop trust and caring. This is from 1985. And welcome in, who was that? It's weird how my laptop is showing a name I don't see. Arkham Knight 57. You're not shown on my phone, but you're shown on my laptop. That's weird. What not glitches? Sometimes I gotta shake my head. Next book I have is we are now going into the educational section. So you're going to stare at the art of loving. Some people that are just grumpy in society need the art of loving. Put these over here. I usually go through my books just once and I end my show. But my books are live whether I'm here or not, so people can shop anytime they want. I found that little button. The Art of Loving by Eric Fromm. It's a little old book from 1956. Boy, have things changed. Or have they? How to overcome the fear of love. How can love conquer shame and anxiety? How love can release your hidden potential. How love can become the most exhilarating and exciting experience of your life. There you go. The Art of Loving. That's okay. You do your thing, Maya. No obligation. You don't have an obligation to even have to stay. You could do your thing, woman. I'm used to talking to myself, even on the web. The next book I have is Assessment of the Older Adult for somebody who does in-home care or as a caregiver. This is a really good book. 2001. The Clinical Companion for the Assessment of Older Adult is a practical, convenient-sized reference guide for assessment and care of the older individual. This pocket reference is designed for use in a clinical setting and serves as a ready reference for assessment of physical, physiological, spiritual, and cultural dimensions of care for the older client. I have done skilled living care too, so. Hey, Bobby. Welcome, welcome. I love my old people. The next book we have is Pleasure Packing. I like this even though it's old if you're out hiking because this book is so cute. It's from 1976, but look at the pictures. It's got some really cool little tab in there. Cool pictures on different things like what to wear, how to tie knots, all about backpacking and hiking. I think it's a cute book, even if it's older. And after that, we have this one. This next one's funny. The top part of it is. The next book we have is called, let me get it pinned. This sounds like me with my husband. Honey, are you listening? But that's not what this is about. It's about how attention deficit disorder can be affecting your marriage by Dr. Rick Fowler and Geraldine Fowler. Very educational. 1995. Rick and see says, do any of the following scenes sound familiar to you? You're moving, you make a list, start packing room for moving. Your spouse scrounges some boxes out of the garage and starts throwing things in at random. You and your partner have a big argument. Hours later, you're still hurt and fuming. He chops his back like as nothing ever happened, all cheerful and eager for romance. Dr. Fowler has ADD, attention disorder. Is not a disease. People who have it are in no way sick. It is a big difference in the way the brain handles information. While most people think it's a one thing at a time, the ADD person takes in everything at once. Sometimes they overlook the trees because they see the forest. This can be frustrating for a non-ADD partner who doesn't understand the ADD thought process. However, communication is one area where people with ADD shine. It is well worth learning a few skills so that you and your ADD spouse can understand each other. So there you go. If you have a spouse with ADD, this will help you. Hey, Chuck. There's lots of people live tonight. Did that run? Yeah. Hey, Wiseman. Welcome, welcome. The next book we have is Dr. Phil's Life Strategies. Doing what works, doing what matters. This is a 1999. You either get it or you don't. Strategy, become one of those who gets it. Law 2, you create your own experience. Strategy, acknowledge and accept accountability for your life. 3, people do what works. Strategy, identifying the payoffs that drive your behavior and that of others. Law 4, you cannot change what you do not acknowledge. Strategy, get real with yourself about life and everybody in it. Law 5, life rewards action. Strategy, make careful decisions, and then pull the trigger. 6, there is no reality, only perception. Strategy, identify the filters through which you view the world. 7, life is managed, it is not cruel. Strategy, learn to take charge of your life. Law 8, we reach people, teach people how to treat us. Strategy, rather they complain about how people treat you. 9, there is a power in forgiveness. Strategy, open your eyes to what anger and resentment are doing to you. 10, you have to name it before you can claim it. Strategy, get clear about what you want and take your turn. So here is a Dr. Phil book. If you like his information. And next we have A New Mother's Guide to Breastfeeding. While breastfeeding is best for baby and mother, positioning, latching on, how to know if your baby's getting enough, getting to know your baby's feeding patterns, and nutrition tips for mother and baby. So the American Academy of Pediatrics, the organization that represents the nation's finest pediatricians, answers these questions and many more in this valuable resource to help you and your baby get the healthiest possible start. The benefits of breastfeeding will last a lifetime for both you and your baby. Here is everything new mothers need to know about breastfeeding, from preparing for the first feeding to adjusting to your home, family, and work life as a nursing mother. This comprehensive resource covers preparing, breastfeeding, establishing nursing routines, the father's role. It's a really good book. This is actually a really cute book to do at a baby shower too. This kind of stuff is nice at baby showers. Can never have too much information when it comes to your kids and becoming a new parent. And guys, you can get into these books just as easy as women can. Next we have and I always put these under educational because they are. It's a life experience. Father and Son Lessons of Life by Tim Russett, Big Russ and Me. This is a 2004 copyright. I have learned so much from Big Russ, and I feel so grateful for him. And I want to write a book about the two of us and also about the other important teachers in my life who have reinforced Dad's lessons and taught me a few new ones. I hope this book will encourage readers to think about things they learn from their father. Whatever we achieve and whoever we are, we stand on their shoulders. So Life Lessons is educational. Hey, UCO Collects and Allie. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Ethan. Welcome, welcome. Next book we have, this is another one that's good for a baby shower or just to gift to somebody, or if you are a new mom. It's called Nursing Mother, Working Mother, The Essentials Guide to Breastfeeding Your Baby Before and After You Return to Work by Gail Pryor and Kathleen Higgins, who's an RN. This is a 2007 book. And it says a return to work doesn't mean the end of breastfeeding. In fact, continuing to nurse your baby is the working mom's best strategy for blending both sides of her life into a new and satisfying whole. In this fully updated edition of Nursing Mother, Working Mother, Gail Pryor and Kathleen Higgins provide essential advice on getting breastfeeding off to a good start, pumping and storing breast milk, establishing a pumping and feeding routine, negotiating with an employer for private pumping space, finding supportive childcare, the legal rights of employees with regard to breastfeeding. Nice baby shower presents, I still say. Next book after that is, if you like Hillary Clinton, here is a book on Hillary. It is a big book. It's called Her Way, The Hopes and Ambitions of Hillary Rodham Clinton. It's a little bent, by Jeff Girth and Don Van Natta Jr. The book's in good condition, except it's bent a little bit for some odd reason. And it's got a little bit of, let's see, 2007, little bit of that flecking stuff of age. And I think this is in bigger font too. It says, more than 3 decades ago, in the earliest days of their romance, Bill and Hillary struck a plan, one that would become both the foundation and the engine of their relationship. They agreed to work together to revolutionize the Democratic Party and ultimately make the White House their home. Once their 20-year project was realized with Bill's victory in 1992, their plan became even more ambitious. 8 years as president for him than 8 years for her. Their audacious pact was remain a secret until now. While their plan was hatched together, Hillary had her own ideas about what it would take to achieve victory. She concluded if she had any chance of winning the ultimate prize of her life, she would need to pursue it her way. That meant, among other things, carefully crafting a persona and a narrative to present to the American public that knew both so much and so little about her. So there is the Hillary book. And then the last book of the day is pretty interesting. We go into Structure by Kim Taylor, and this is about science. This could be for a kid, a young adult, or just educational period. And this is from 1992. A fascinating introduction to structure, the shapes and forms of things both in nature and human technology. Superb photographs by author Kim Taylor, leading scientific photographer. Plenty of simple experiments of young scientists to try for themselves. So there we go. A cute little science book. And of course, it's not running. Ugh. Give me a second. It's not running on my end because, you know, we just have whatnot glitches. So I'm going to close it, reopen it. So give me a minute. Because that's whatnot for you. There we go. Now it runs. So we're running the Hillary one first, and then we'll go into the science one. For some reason, I reran that one. Okay. Now we will run the last one. There we go. And that will be the last book of the day. I want to thank everybody who stopped by just to check me out, listen to me read. I want to thank my purchasers and my tippers. Thank you so, so much. You are appreciated. Let's see who we can raid with one person. I'm not going to raid with one person. I'm just going to end the show. Good night, everybody. See you.